I came home to a bulldozer parked where my living room used to be. Half my ranch house gone. The porch my late wife and I built with our own hands, the room where we raised our son, the dining space where we held every holiday dinner. It was nothing but a pile of splintered wood and drywall under the open sky. And standing there smug as could be was Janice Weld, president of the HOA, holding a clipboard like it was a weapon. She smiled and handed me a bill for the demolition, telling me my home was an unauthorized structure. Imagine that, 35 years in that house, and now I was a trespasser on my own land. The day had started perfect. I'd been out fishing with my grandson Leo. He fell asleep on the drive home, his little fishing pole still between his knees. I pulled into the driveway with the sun on my back, thinking about leftovers for dinner. And then, bang, my world collapsed. Leo woke up, his eyes wide, his voice small. "Grandpa, what happened to our house?" I didn't even know how to answer. My legs shook as I got out of the truck, staring at the wreckage. This wasn't an accident. This was an execution. Janice met me halfway across the lawn. "Good afternoon, Tom," she said, like we were neighbors catching up on the weather. "We've begun preparatory work for the cul-de-sac extension. Approved in last month's emergency session." She tapped her clipboard matter of fact. I said, "You tore down my house." Her reply, "That's a bit dramatic. We simply removed the illegally placed portion of your structure. The easement shows it was built on common land." I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her. But instead, I asked low and steady, "Janice, what is this really?" And she just smiled like she'd already won. Her cronies looked nervous, but she was calm, too calm. They even said I'd be receiving an invoice for demolition and debris removal. They destroy my home, then send me the bill. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the sound of the bulldozer, the look on Leo's face. I dug through old boxes of documents until my hands shook from exhaustion. The next day, I drove straight to the county records office. Dusty air shelves full of plats and surveys. I pulled the old subdivision maps, the ones from when I sold off parcels around my ranch 20 years ago. And there, it was a surveyor's typo. A clerical error that cut straight through my living room. An old mistake weaponized. And filed just 3 weeks ago, an HOA lawyer had slipped in a clarification pushing the boundary into their favor. It wasn't a mistake at all. It was a setup. Later that afternoon, standing in the wreckage, I held a piece of porch railing Laura had picked out the stain for. They bulldozed her porch and called it an unauthorized structure. My heart sank lower than ever. Then the mail truck pulled up, a certified letter. HOA legal counsel demanding I vacate, fining me $500 a day until I cleared the remains of my illegal structure. Vacate my own property. That night, Leo asked Grandpa, "Are they going to take our whole house?" His voice cut right through me. I told him no, nobody was taking our home. But in my gut, I wasn't sure. When he went to bed, I sat in the dark kitchen staring at the broken porch against the moonlight. I remembered Laura, hammer in hand, laughing when she missed a nail. She'd called this our forever spot. I broke down right there, quiet, heavy grief. Not just wood and nails had been lost. They'd ripped open my life. The harassment got worse. My mailbox smashed to pieces. Trees Laura planted poisoned. Neighbors avoiding me, eyes down when I passed. Police shrugged it off, civil matter. Fines kept coming in the mail like clockwork. I felt trapped. I questioned myself. Had I been wrong to hold on to this land? Was I just a relic, standing in the way of progress? Maybe I should sell, walk away, start over. But then I thought of Laura, of Leo's frightened eyes. No, this wasn't about one house. This was about standing up to bullies who thought they could write reality with a clipboard. And then I found the crack in their armor. 20 years ago, I'd kept a narrow strip of land a drainage right-of-way. Their shiny new road ran straight across it without permission. I set up a camera in a storm and filmed the cul-de-sac flooding into a brown lake. They'd built their empire on sand, and I had the proof. And just when I thought I was alone, old Nate Holloway, the retired plumber, showed up with original sewer line maps. "That whole section's a mess of clay pipes," he grunted. "One wrong move and it all collapses." I wasn't just fighting anymore. I was building a case. I took another step they never saw coming. Driving past the HOA's clubhouse, I noticed a faded for sale sign tucked in the weeds. The parcel was owned by an out-of-state investment firm. I made one phone call, one cash offer above asking, and within 72 hours, I was the legal owner of the land under their clubhouse. Just like that, the ground shifted. They had bulldozed my house to build a road, but I had bought the ground beneath their throne. The next morning, I posted a notice to vacate on the clubhouse door. Bold letters tenant in violation of lease, 30 days to vacate. 2 hours later, Janice came storming down my drive, waving my notice. Her face red, her voice shrill. "This is harassment. I'll call the police." I calmly held up the deed. "I'm your landlord now, Janice. As of Friday, this building sits on my property." She read it, her face draining pale. "This is impossible," she stammered. "We have a lease." I smiled. Clause 7, Section B voided if the tenant engages in illegal construction. You built an unpermitted road across my easement. Lease terminated. For the first time, Janice had nothing to say. Word spread. I called a meeting. My meeting in my clubhouse. The place was packed. Neighbors who had avoided me for weeks now filled every chair lining the walls. I showed photos of my destroyed house, the flooding road, the real deeds, the bogus plat map. I played the storm video on a big screen. Murmurs turned into outrage. People stood up sharing their own stories, fines for peeling paint liens for a garden hose. The fear had cracked. In its place, fury. I called for a vote of no confidence. Hands shot up everywhere. The board dissolved on the spot. Janice stormed out with her lawyer, but she was finished. Or so I thought. 3 days later, before dawn, I woke to the sound of heavy machinery. A flatbed truck rolled onto my lawn with a backhoe. And there she was. Janice, no longer president, just a bitter woman with a vendetta directing the crew like a general. "We're clearing this nuisance," she shouted, waving paperwork she claimed was from the county. "We'll send you the bill." I didn't argue. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Her men started scooping debris, tearing deeper into the yard. Then I heard it a crunch, followed by the stench of raw sewage. They'd ruptured my septic line. A dark stream of waste poured downhill into the creek. Janice froze. Her little stunt had just turned into a full-blown environmental disaster, and I had it all on video. I dialed 911, then the EPA hotline. Within minutes, sheriff's cruisers pulled up, lights flashing. Deputies surveyed the backhoe, the sewage, the creek. This wasn't civil anymore. It was criminal. Health department cars arrived. An EPA investigator took samples, her face stone cold. "Ma'am," she told Janice, "this creek feeds the town's water supply. Do you realize how serious this is?" Janice sputtered excuses, but the deputies weren't listening. They clicked handcuffs onto her wrists, marched her to the cruiser, and locked her in the back seat. Her hired crew got hauled off too, charged with reckless endangerment. The backhoe was impounded. The smug smile that once ruled the neighborhood was gone, replaced with disbelief and ruin. That's where my story ends. Not with cheers, not with celebration, just with the quiet click of handcuffs and the sight of a bully finally undone by her own arrogance. Sometimes justice doesn't come from a courtroom. Sometimes it comes from refusing to back down when the world tells you to. Home is worth defending.